It's 2000 hours Eastern time, and we welcome you to our Shabbat welcome. Thank all of you people for tuning in. We are going to be reading the second chapter of Proverbs tonight with a special guest from Albania. And we're going to talk about some things that are going on in our life.
And we want to hear what's going on.
We want to hear what's going on in yours. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah.
Everybody, so nice to see you all
can start.
again.
Patty's going to start by lighting the candles.
Okay, tradition, and we kind of like it, and I hope you do too. Baruch atah Yehovah Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav Titzivanu ladlik neshel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
I also want to say a blessing over the bread and the wine.
What's first?
Bread? The bread is first.
Okay.
Baruch atah Yehovah Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Yehovah our God, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth.
Symbolic, of course.
Symbolic and also very tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Baruch atah Yehovah Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Blessed are you, Yehovah our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
I have a new mocktail here. If anyone wants to know about it, it's got kava in it.
Yeah.
So
you keep drinking that. And I'm, of course, always read the Shema from the Moses scroll, but it's same concept. And as I always like to talk, sometimes I get choked up reading this because I think this is about as original as you can get, but also it's the first person God talking.
Before you start, I just want to mention that I can see our screen on. I didn't pop the chat out. Does that mean I didn't pop the chat
You didn't, and I would pop that out before we get into trouble, huh?
Sorry, everyone.
We'll get that feedback. Seth, he can only do so much to control things. So anyways, Shema. Hear, O Israel, Elohim, our Elohim. Elohim is one. And you shall love your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, very exceedingly. And these words which I am commanding you today shall be upon your heart and taught incisively to your children. And you shall speak of them when you sit in your house and as you walk along the way, and when you lie down and when you rise. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand. They will be as bands between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorframes of your house and your gates, because Elohim made a covenant with you in Horeb on the day of assembly. Sorry. Powerful words, if there ever were.
Mm-hmm.
After that, everything else is kind of,
Commentary.
The 10, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Is we're going to talk about the Sabbath is the second commandment in the Moses scroll, and something else we'll talk about as it is a second commandment in a minute. Sanctify the seventh day, and you shall cease on it, because in 6 days I made the heavens and the earth and all that is in them. And I ceased on the seventh day. Therefore you shall also cease, you and your animal and all that is yours. I am Elohim, your Elohim. The next slide's tough. I only want to say one thing about the past. I remember my family. I was a young boy. Saw my grandfathers crying. Because in 1963, 61 years ago tomorrow, John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas.
Mm-hmm. I was alive during that. How many of you remember that day? What were you doing that day?
I can only tell you that my family gathered like someone in the family died. It was powerful, very powerful to watch
to our nation.
And how the children, how the children spoke so eloquently, and Jackie. So one other thing that's happening is that I would like to tell you is that the Pomerantz family is having a fundraiser in New York for the children left as orphans in the October 7th massacre, and so we're going. It's Thursday, December 5th, and wouldn't you know, that's the day these 10 Commandments go on display.
On the 5th.
On the 5th, but we're going on the 6th to see the 10 Commandments at Sotheby's.
I'll be there.
Maybe Clody can meet us there. So we're really excited to go see that. It just happened to be that we were going down there to work with the Pomerantz family, and then the next day we can go see the 10, the way they were written there. So I just wanted to bring that up to you as something of interest, and
hopefully we'll be able to get online while we're there.
Yeah,
and talk about it.
Yes.
Share some photos and things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's the Hebrew word of the week is next. Let's move on.
Okay, all right. Well, the Hebrew word of the week that I selected was Chaim, which means life. It's technically pronounced as a two-syllable word, Chaim, but most people just say Chaim like it's one word. The meaning, most of you already know, is life or lives, but it can also mean renewal, healing, restoration, or a lifespan. This word Chaim is plural form of the Hebrew word Hayeh, which is a rich word reflecting the multidimensional concept of life with connotations of vitality, energy, and existence. This week's Torah portion is called Chayei Sarah, meaning the life of Sarah. And it starts out in Genesis 23 with, and the life of Sarah was 107 and 20 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah.
And somehow Ross has turned it into a dysfunctional family he's going to talk about.
The name of Ross's class in a minute, but it's still going to be talking about Sarah and also other important women. Okay, so the word Chaim is also found in popular phrases like L'chaim, lift your glass on, to life, Chaim Olam, everlasting life, and Eitz Chaim, tree of life. So I thought that was a great word, one of my favorite words.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
We say that in Israel all the time.
Yes, L'chaim. What's the Italian version?
Salute. Salute.
Salute. Everyone has their toast like that, but I like L'chaim. It's my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. Bon appetito. Oh, that's when you eat.
Okay, so tomorrow Ross's class, I wrote the title down, is going to be called Dysfunctional but Divine, the Chosen Family. And it kind of makes us feel not so abnormal if we happen to have some dysfunction in our families, which most of us do. We've talked about a lot of it here. But this is the chosen family, and Ross is going to talk about how it works. So,
well, that's good, Ross.
Yeah, hope to see you tomorrow on that.
All right. So we're going to go to the next slide, Proverbs reading. We're going to read chapter 2. Actually, Clody's going to be reading it. But I just want to talk before she starts about one thing, and then we'll kind of go to we'll let her talk, and then we'll go. So there she is. Proverbs attributed to Solomon serves as an introduction to the overarching themes of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It delineates the purpose of Proverbs to equip individuals with discernment, prudence, and the ability to navigate life in alignment with righteousness, justice, and equity. All right, we're going to get Clody up here now.
We're going to being fast talkers here. We need to slow down a little.
All right, we'll see. Clody should be coming up. There
yes, we should do that. I'm a stranger. I cannot understand you.
But you have a wonderful. We want to hear you. Yes.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well. So we're reading in the ASV to those people that Proverbs chapter 2, Clody.
ASV because I have New Revised Standard Version. Is that
Oh.
the one?
No, that's okay, but read it. It's going to be close enough.
Yeah, it'll be perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Doesn't matter.
My child, if you accept my words and treasure up my commandments within you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding, if you indeed cry out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk blamelessly, guarding the paths of justice and preserving the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path. For wisdom will come into your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Prudence will watch over you, and understanding will guard you. It will save you from the way of evil, from those who speak perversely, who forsake the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perverseness of evil, those whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. You will be saved from the loose woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words, who forsakes the partner of her youth and forgets her sacred covenant. For her way leads down to death, and her paths to the shades. Those who go to her never come back, nor do they regain the paths of life. Therefore, walk in the way of the good, and keep to the paths of the just. For the upright will abide in the land, and the innocent will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it.
Awesome. Well done, Chloe.
Well done, Clody.
Thank you.
That is so excellent. We're going to record you reading other parts of the Bible too. Very soothing, very beautiful, Clody.
Now, what
Thank
do you,
you.
the foreigner, the strange woman, do you think that really refers to a woman, or is that pagan religions? Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm really going with the when I read this psalm specifically to my nephews, to my
Proverb.
sister's
Proverb, it's
sons.
not. It's a proverb,
Yeah,
not a.
sorry, proverb. Yeah, proverb 2. When I read this to my sister's sons,
Yeah,
I wanted to interpret it on the first level without the undertext.
yeah.
And I think that we should go with that. We have many other verses against idolatry, right? But
Yeah.
it could be interpreted that way. It could be interpreted with
Well,
being
certainly,
faithful
yeah,
to the covenant that you have chosen.
yeah. I think also it's about a person, anyways.
Yes, I think it could be two levels of meaning.
Yeah, I had these kind of summarized.
Okay.
So if we go the first one, the pursuit of wisdom are verses 1 through 5. Some of the things that came out to me, and I want you people to talk, and that means you too, Clody. Wisdom requires intentional effort. So the reader is exhorted to actively seek wisdom with the same zeal as one would search for hidden treasures or precious metals. The process involves receiving and storing commandments, listening intently, and wholeheartedly applying oneself to understanding. And the reward for this pursuit is really twofold: comprehending the fear of Jehovah, and discovering divine knowledge. which is really powerful stuff.
Wisdom and knowledge are common themes in the Proverbs.
Yeah.
I learned so much from
they're the only thing really valuable to what you know.
I'm
so
sorry.
then,
I wanted to. Did you finish with 1 to 5?
yeah, 1 to 5. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to really give a little bit of light to 3, to verse 3.
Okay, go ahead.
It says, if you cry out for insight, if you raise your voice for understanding, it's like a whole chapter that wants you to seek guidance and knowledge from God and be wise.
Yeah.
And in between of all of them, it says you can cry out for insight. You can raise your voice for understanding.
Yeah.
Sometimes being the sheep of God is not, that's how I understand it. It's not the way that you gain understanding.
Yeah. Well, you have to ask, that's for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this really tells you must ask for it, and you must seek. And I think that's an important aspect of my life. I kept asking God to give me the truth, and he didn't reveal it to me all at once, and he still hasn't revealed it all to me. And I don't believe he's revealed it to anyone. Don't take offense if you think you've got it all. I think people who say they know God, all about God, have stopped knowing God, because it's a very dynamic and iterative thing. Your mind can't absorb what God has to tell us at all. Some of it's real simple. It's here are the 10, follow them. And that's enough for most of us right now.
And even then, how you follow them is sometimes a lifetime
debate.
of learning.
What is the Shabbat, and how do you honor Shabbat? And I think I've said this before, Clody. Maybe you had this. I remember the first time I said, "Oh, I'm gonna celebrate Shabbat." I just stood there in my seat for like 8 hours, and I didn't do anything. I was just like, can I walk? Can I? Because no one spoke to me. I was like, I think the Orthodox Jews would have been proud of me.
Exactly.
He says, wait till I grow up. Yes, I know. And it was, many 30 years ago. But the fact is, it's, I go through paths on what Shabbat is. And there's a lot of difference, even in our little group, on what Shabbat is. But I think the more focused you are, and hey, we do this Shabbat welcome. Ross does the class, and usually the Zoom after. That takes up a lot of Shabbat right there.
And now Torah Pearls. I don't know if y'all been.
But that's Thursday, though.
You're right. Tuning in on Thursday for Torah Pearls.
Yeah, Torah
Pearls.
Pearls.
Nice thing.
Yeah, it's they
Shabbat.
Yeah, they selectively only pick the questions that they want to answer, and they've ignored me. No, I'm kidding, Ross. It's a great Jono is a great. It's like Patty and I. We're very different, and Ross and Jono, they have that thing. I don't know. It's really good. They have a chemistry, and if you go on their trip to knocktours.com, that trip is. We had it all paid for, and we were ready to go, and then
October 7th happened, unfortunately, and everything changed.
And it's been a hell since then. All right, we're going to verses 6 through 8 now. Cody, are you good with the first 5? Now we're just going through 6 to 8.
I'm going. Shabbat Shalom, and
Cody, you don't have to go.
Perhaps somebody else wants to comment. No.
Yeah, but they'll put up their hands. You're the reader, so you stay. We're putting the weight on you because you probably practiced this. Okay, wisdom is presented as a divine gift originating from Jehovah. Knowledge and understanding are bestowed by God and serve as a moral compass. God not only grants wisdom, but also protects the upright and ensures their integrity by shielding them and preserving their paths of justice. So I'm just telling you, that's some powerful two verses right there. I don't know. Okay.
I have
and
a
then
comment for this also.
please comment.
So
Please comment.
I have two friends of mine that they are not particularly in seeking God, but they
Mhm.
try to live a very decent life and clean life. They
Okay.
never smoked, they never drank, they never indulged in anything. They were like really, really good girls. So what I've
Which I'm
seen,
bad because I'm drinking wine, but okay, I'll let you go with that.
I've been indulging. So and whenever I talk with them and I see their blessings, I tell them that that's the result of their uprightness. What? How is the word?
Yeah,
Uprightness. Yeah.
uprightness, I would say.
It
Yeah,
makes it's like a shield. It's like a protection from God. If
right.
you don't make the wrong choices, it's you don't have the after effects of every stupid movement that you would have done if
Yeah,
you didn't choose the wisdom and the
sure.
uprightness.
No, I see you really got the idea of
And they were really spared a lot of the of effects of all that bad behavior. So that was kind of like the shield around
yeah,
them and the
yes.
issues
Sure,
and
certainly.
everything like
That's truly beautiful.
Yes.
That's a good observation, Clody. So we have our Albanian reader, and she's done not only that, but she's commenting now with such wisdom herself.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to the fruits of wisdom, which is verses 9 through 11. I call it that. You could call it something else. With wisdom comes an intrinsic understanding of righteousness, justice, equity, and moral integrity. And wisdom brings joy and satisfaction to the soul, acting as a guardian of discretion and understanding to safeguard the individual from harm. And I believe this is definitely happened in my life. It's happened in my life. I've been protected in bad places, and one of the things that make have I have to leave for 5 minutes. Oh, that was the end. That Chloe left for 5 minutes.
Okay.
But my point is, you can't get away with anything with God. If you do bad things, that's is not within the earshot of your family or your synagogue or your church. God still knows you did those things.
Mhm.
And I remember, I'll be very nice. Friends of mine, of acquaintances of mine, in the military that were from Saudi Arabia, wouldn't drink in Saudi Arabia, but they would drink in America. And I said, why do you drink here? He goes, well, we're not in the Holy Land.
Mm.
And I thought, well, so your God can't see over here?
Rules don't apply.
I found that very odd.
Yeah, that is very
I don't
odd.
believe that. Ross and I have also talked about that in
Mhm.
Israel. I won't bring up that whole scenario, but we had a good talk about that once. So now we'll go to the way of righteousness, verses 20 through 22. And that's the ending. Wisdom guides individuals to follow the paths of the righteous and the good, ensuring a life rooted in moral excellence. A stark contrast is drawn between the upright who dwell securely in the land, symbolizing stability and blessings, and the wicked who will be cut off and uprooted. So to me, those are very powerful things that this one chapter of Proverbs brings up that impact life. As I said before, it was it's what. So these books really, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Psalms even though they're not, the Torah, and they're not the history or the prophetic. Well, they have prophetic elements to them. To me, these books give us so much insight into everyday life. And I think JJ was the one who said, "Why don't we read those?" And so we're planning on it. And it's here. We're here to talk, for you people to come up and say, well, here's what I think of that, or it's open, and it doesn't even need to be about the book of Proverbs. It could be what chapter of Proverbs are we in? Oh, Clody read Michael chapter 2, Proverbs chapter 2.
To read one.
So if you would like to read one, let us know. And every week we're going to read one, and we like to get other people on there reading. And Clody did a phenomenal job. And when you read it, then we kind of discuss it. I like writing a summary of what I thought what it said, but 100%, you guys, yeah, I'm done with the slides, Ross. Yep, I'm done with the slides, Ross. Ross is asking me. So,
there.
huh?
Who's that in the green?
That's Ross Nichols.
Oh, okay.
So he's got Ross TV, and then he's got that.
Right.
Betty isn't feeling well, so prayers for you, Betty. I just want to say Shabbat Shalom, dear sister. And Betty was in the faith before I ever was, and Patty ever was. We met her and her brother James in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was really beautiful to me. And all I can tell you is Betty is
like a sister.
yeah.
All of you are
I mean,
like family.
Betty really reminds me of my mother in many ways. There's just a lot of similarities, and
We'll hope you feel better, Betty.
we hope you feel
get
better.
Some good rest.
And their little doggies there keeping you company.
Give Bobby a little smooch for me.
Absolutely. Chloe's back, and Marianne says my daughter's very non-religious now, but she still remembers her memory verse she learned when she was little, Proverbs 3:5-6. Oh, that is beautiful. And then Nikita is here. Shabbat Shalom, Nikita. And so we were reading Proverbs chapter 2, but I'm a little, I have a sick stomach about, tomorrow, because every year it's 61 years. And I remember it's the first time my life changed dramatically when President Kennedy was shot, and everyone gathered at the home, and my grandparents were crying, and my parents were crying. I never saw that before. It was such an impact of, this big country. And, I certainly don't want to get into the conspiracy theories, but I tell you what, it was an inside job. That's for sure. It's just one of those moments that, my dad said the moment for him was the day of Pearl Harbor. And a lot of our young children should be 9/11 when everybody stopped. Jim says he was thinking of JFK all day. I was in college, a freshman, in Bible class at noon, Texas time. Yeah. It was just, I was a very young kid, but I saw my family in turmoil. And there wasn't this hatred of people. It's really tough. Marianne says she's a conspiracy theorist. They are real. Some are. I don't know if you remember this big conspiracy theory, which proved to be not real. But in the 90s, a lot of evangelical Christians believed there were these black helicopters flying around, and there were concentration camps for everybody.
Oh my gosh.
That's just not true. So that went away. Now, I do believe there was a conspiracy to kill JFK, because he said I am taking I'm going to redo the CIA. They didn't want that. There's one big group, and again, I don't mean to, and then, there's been people coming out on their deathbeds.
Hey, Jodell says Operation Paperclip.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
No.
No?
Operation Paperclip. That was the us using Germans after the World War II.
Oh, okay. Well, was that a conspiracy, or did that end up being true?
It was true, Operation Paperclip.
Was it really?
Yeah, hell yeah. But there's some that aren't, and you just got to be careful.
Yeah.
How far you're going over.
I have Dave fact checker.
Well, I try to, and MK Ultra killed RFK is what she believes, Marianne. If you know what MK Ultra is, that was a CIA test. CIA did a lot of bad things in those days, and probably still do today. I don't know. Please, I'm being.
Well, believe it or not, the founder of United Israel, David Horowitz, wrote a paper on his theory.
Yes.
On what,
good old David Horowitz. Yeah.
What happened with the assassination of JFK.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting to see his spin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Tabor has a comment, but I don't understand it very well. So can you read it, Dave?
John Hulley, who is one of our friends, Dr. Tabor introduced us. He was Harvard educated economist, and he worked in the Kennedy. He worked in the Kennedy administration, and he was a researcher of things. He loved the lost tribes. He became an Orthodox Jew and moved to Israel. We had the pleasure of going to his place in Israel. And he was a great man. John, I'll tell you a day I'll never forget in my life. Ralph Button, me, and John Hulley spent a day together talking about the history. And John took us to these places I've never seen in Israel again. What
an amazing man he was.
And all I can tell you is I really love that man.
He knew our country from the inside out. He worked in the
and we know why it was done probably. Anyways, and so there are people on the inside that don't want the country to change. I'm not getting into politics, but maybe that's why they wanted to kill the current president-elect, is because he wants to change things. Whether you agree or disagree with him, he's threatening to change things in a major way. And that there are people that are entrenched in this government. Thomas Jefferson said we should restart the government every 40 years. I think he knew. And I don't know if you know the story about when those political action groups started to happen. One of the first one is that Ulysses S. Grant, after hours, would go to a hotel in downtown D.C. and have a drink. And the Secret Service would stop people from going and seeing him. So if you paid the Secret Service enough money, you could go sit with President Grant for a little while. Talk about political influence.
Wow.
And that's where that kind of stuff really started to become, and then of course grew out of hand. And now we have all these groups around and they blah, 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 blah. And I didn't want to get into politics tonight. I'm just saying, you want to change the system. It has inertia. In physics, inertia means a system at rest does not want to move, or a system in motion does not want to slow down. Tom O'Neill wrote a very well documented and researched book on all of this called Chaos. Yes. I've seen some of those. In the end, I think only God knows the true truth about all these things. I think we can get glimpses of what happened. But when you look at, there's over 300 million people in this country alone, almost 400 million. It's hard to get it all. And there's so many people with so many, dollars to be made. I think if you track the money, that's where it really goes.
I just read a good quote recently. It said something to the effect that whether tomorrow is the millennium or the apocalypse, your mission should be the same, to just do good.
Yeah.
And I like that. Steady hand on the tiller.
Yeah. Well, the book of Deuteronomy tells us how to do it. It's extremely important to was it listen, guard,
Listen, learn, guard, do.
listen, learn, guard, do.
Yeah.
And that's tough enough. On that.
Mm-hmm. Keep the commandments, and like Solomon said, have a good meal with your family.
Yeah.
Keep the
I mean, it's pretty simple in the end. And so for me, those are very powerful things.
But in the meantime, we do get curious and want to learn all these new things.
Sure, yeah. Hell yeah.
Things. Did you want to talk about the flat earth thing?
No.
Okay.
No, please don't bring that up. Candace Owens says that the book was a great influence, recommended it. Oh, okay. And Claudia, I don't feel, I know I mentioned that, on the 5th of December, we're going to be at the Pomeranz fundraiser for the orphans in Israel. But on the 6th, we're probably going to go see, or maybe the 7th, if you're there, the Ten Commandments stone.
The 7th is Shabbat.
Yeah, I mean, Friday, is that a hard day for you, hon?
I don't know. I'm gonna write to you. So if it's after 2.5, I could be there for 2 hours.
Okay. There's
after 2.5, but I don't know.
Well, no. I understand. I really feel that it would be great to see you and go there. And we're Friday the 6th. We're keeping 100% for going to see this thing.
Yep.
And there's some other things I want to see. And
is it a big museum or something?
No, it's Sotheby's auction house.
Oh, it's just an auction house. Okay.
Well,
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, I mean, you could register if you have $2 million to put it into an escrow. They'll let you bid on it.
Of course, I will. I will do that.
But the other thing, there's some other good places that we could take you. Something that really is impressive of the United States is this. The little church that was down by the World Trade Center, all these buildings fell, but this little church did not fall. And if you go there, you see where George Washington took his oath of office. And that church is an amazing church.
I'm not very, very fond of churches. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, I mean, it's a historical thing.
I understand.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, you've probably never been to St. Patrick's Cathedral, but it's still an interesting thing to see. Like the Vatican.
I've seen it out. I've seen it from the outside. I'm really not. I don't know. This would open.
No, I understand.
Another discussion.
Yeah, no,
I'm not very, very, very fond of places where people did do idolatry. That's all.
Yeah.
I take it personally.
It's personally every square block in the city of New York.
I know.
Just say,
everywhere.
Everywhere there's a damn idolaters. So no, that's there's some really incredible things in New York, the museums, but whatever. Just to see this stone and take some pictures, I was gonna try to, take some pictures and post them.
See that.
Yeah. I think they will. Patty's going to make sure that we can get in there. I don't want to go all the way there and not get in there.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if you have to be registered or. It says public display. It's. Yeah. we'll see what happens. I don't know. Anyways, this is kind of a really uh, big weekend from all the other things that have happened, and I feel very blessed to be home, and so next week we won't be able to be live. Um, we're going to be at a family gathering, and so I don't want to I don't want to. I would have to leave that family gathering very early, and I haven't seen these people in years. So they chose the Friday night, so after Thanksgiving. So we won't be doing this, but I'll put that up because of what's happened. But I don't want this not to be. I don't want you to just never come back.
I know. Don't forget about it.
It's just that we. I mean, at 3 a.m. in Israel, I still had the Shabbat welcome.
But if anything changes, we will, put it up that will, if anything.
Well, yeah, and
I mean, there's supposed to be like a huge snowstorm, so we might not even make it.
well, yeah, there's supposed to be a snowstorm. Yeah,
We've had our first snow here. I
yeah,
don't know about anyone else.
and so so for us to be with our family, as you get older, and there's some older people here. I'm not gonna.
David's senior
I'm
citizen.
a senior, but my point is this: there's people are gone. Your parents are gone. Your aunts and uncles are gone. Your cousins are gone. A lot of your friends have died, and you have to take those beautiful little nuggets with these people. That if you don't, they're gone. And I don't even want to go into other issues in my life about that, but it's spend time with your precious ones and make sure that you love them
and hug them
because it's a big deal.
And we love you all. You're like our Mishpacha family here.
Yeah.
We're so glad to have you all here.
Yes, and it's so nice to hear all these different points of view, and
yes.
It really doesn't get that mean here as it does on Ross's Zoom, but
no.
I'm just kidding you.
Everyone's friendly for the most part.
Oh yeah, and we have to have different points of view, or we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
I'm doing I'm doing I'm doing a paper about that. And I'll put it up on Discord when I'm done. But it's about the nature of people who search like us, and there's a passion to us that we just can't accept or stand. For like Clody just said, I'm not going into a church where they blasphemed or whatever they did there, because, and I understand that, Clody. I just see it simply as a historical thing, but I also am amazed at
architecture. I know exactly what you mean.
And the beast, not this little church, but like when I went in the Vatican, my mouth hit the ground to see the artwork. It is the beast has power. I know I'm sounding like a Christian now and talking about the Book of Revelation, but I'm just saying.
I think that we shouldn't give this power to the beast.
Yeah. Well,
that's by not visiting those places that much.
The beast has its power regardless of who we are, and all I can tell you from my look at is that a lot of skullduggery went on with the Romans, and I feel glad that I escaped from Roman Catholicism. I feel grateful, even if I was a Protestant Christian, that would be better than being in part of the beast.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and I'm not.
At least they say solo scriptura.
Yeah,
you can really discuss things with them according to the scripture. While with the Catholics and the Orthodox, Christians,
Yeah.
you cannot talk to them. They are like, okay, the Pope said so, our priest said so. I don't know why, but I'm going with him.
Yeah. Well,
No logic at
they
all.
appear to be holy. The other issue is, I guess we became kind of like almost Protestant Jews, is what I guess we could be called now.
Karaites.
Yeah, we're not Karaites though, because they got their own. They're
Yeah.
liars too. They lie about, oh, we don't have all these rules. Yes,
You're
you
right
do.
about that. Yeah, you're right. You're
You
right.
dump them
They have
down and
traditions. Yeah.
right. They are not as bad, or they're not as heavy as the Orthodox, but they still got their own thing. It's called hypocrisy.
But don't we live in a time today where we can talk about these things openly and discuss ideas
and not get killed.
Exactly.
And that's right. I liken it to drinking Jim Jones Kool-Aid. Well, I know a lot about Jim Jones. I'm not going to speak here, but that guy was a total whack. And so Libby says a lot of Jerusalem was Roman built history. We admire the stone streets, but they were Roman built. And
so Dr. Tabor says, I taught at Notre Dame for 7 years and know the Catholics well. There are countless ones who are moving toward the Bible. Amen to that. But if Dr. Tabor would have given a lecture in any church, I would go inside.
Joe, this is ecumenical Jews.
Yeah, ecumenical Jews. And so, the issue is that it's for me, it's a continually, as David Horowitz said, and United Israel founder, he said that Christianity and Judaism are steeped in Hellenism, and and that's why the first time I went to a Jewish service, they just didn't use the term Jesus, and it was very much like a Christian service. And the issue being
without all the idolatry and
but still they didn't.
icons.
They had a very Christian like the
Tradition.
as David said. This Romanism, this Greek Hellenism. It's in all parts of life. One of my Christian friends keep sending me these little clips of this Jesus movie that's now out, The Chosen or something. And it's kind of like the hip modern Jesus, but they're powerful little stories. And if you're a Christian, please forgive me. But they're powerful little stories that say, Thomas, I am Ryu. Feel my wounds. And it's a great story, but I don't think that is the truth of the matter. And
they get a lot of important facts wrong, but it's done very well.
Yeah, remember that one that what was it that screwed up Moses and Noah or something? There was a movie out like that.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
And I'm just saying, So anyways, the other issue is, I hate to tell people this, and I'm sure you all say these things. I don't know what I'm going to believe a year from now. Marianne says we all grew up with fairy tales. Yeah, I love that. And so my point is that I believe the 10 will still be here. I don't think that's going anywhere. But what other things I might believe or not believe, I don't know, and I have to keep an open mind and give it the test. And I guess there's a thing a lot of smart people say that I've met. The more I know, the more I know I don't know.
I don't know.
It's to me, when you look at the universe and realize some of those stars aren't stars, but they're galaxies with 1 trillion stars in them. You think you have a concept of what the Almighty is? You don't. it's powerful. This L of L's, Elohim, your Elohim, that wrote in the stone. You're dealing with the power that is of all powers, the power of all powers. You're up there, and and it knows everything. That I even hate to use the term he, because it's more than a he. It's beyond our conception.
Male and female.
Of male and female and all these things.
I agree with that.
We stand in awe, and the other night I went out with what was it called? The blue moon?
One of those moons.
Yeah. And I was on my back deck and it was 3 a.m. because the dog had to go out and go pee.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked up at these stars and this moon and I'm like,
just in awe of it.
Well, who am I that you even made me? That you even thought of me? That you gave me a life and a chance to learn who you were and a chance to learn all these things and to be with people like you. We have a lot of good people in this group, and many of them could teach just as well as Ross.
Southerners giving you an amen.
Yeah. What I'm just saying is like, you could listen to Clody talk and you'd learn a lot. You could listen to Nikita or obviously Dr. Tabor is a scholar. He's going to save Mary from all things. Ross and Jono. You listen to Karen. You listen to all these people that have.
Jodelle's got her.
Jodelle. Yeah, all these people that we've listened to.
Everybody here.
I'm stunned at the differences. And I like to say this a lot. I'm so glad there's so many women here because a lot of these groups, when I used to go in them, they were just all men. But
it's almost like a mosaic and they're all adding pieces to it.
Exactly.
And it just turns out to be something really beautiful at the end.
And that to us is a really powerful thing that there's everyone here. And we all came from different points of view and we all came from different paths. The paths are so important as I've been writing a lot lately for my book and for supporting other people. I do realize that it is important to write these things down and leave a testimony. If I had a testimony of my great grandparents, I'd be stunned. Or
even your dad. We always encouraged him to write a book, or I gave him a little recorder because he had so many little tidbits of wisdom.
Yeah.
And they say when you lose an elderly person, you lose a library.
Yeah.
And that is just so true.
Well, we just lost Dr. Tabor's friend that we went to his place in New York City this week. And he was a brilliant man. And, the world loses something because even if there's, something left like books and stuff.
So write your story down, even if you leave it for your children and grandchildren.
Exactly.
Or put it up on Discord. There's a lot of activity going on Discord.
I remember when my parents died, I got some letters that were written to my grandfather, Tyler. So my dad's father, my paternal grandfather. And until that point, the Tylers apparently had married English, UK citizens, only UK to UK since 1638. Since they came here, that was their belief. And my grandfather was marrying a French Canadian, and they blasted her like you would not believe. The French have never won a war, and they're liars, and they're too emotional. And Grandpa and Grandma Tyler were married for over 60 years when he died, and so guess what? They had a great marriage. And another one of them was. Well, I won't even get into what they called my mother.
No, that's bad.
What they called my mother was...
Karen Dupree says, God bless Ann and Red. We sure do miss them.
What they called my mother to my face. Not good.
No, not good. But
realizing that I'm half of my mother, right? Marianne's writing a book for my grandchildren. 7 bedtime stories with my whole family as characters. Wow.
Wonderful.
That's a great idea. and it's artistic too, Marianne.
Yes,
and
yes.
that's a beautiful thing. And so another thing I was going to say is that I am Patty and I are planning to be in Jackson when I'm not scaring Ross now for the
Surprise.
uh, for the annual conference. And I suggest people plan, and if there's people that need to, maybe a couple of people getting a VRBO or Airbnb, it's a great thing.
Mhm.
There are not a lot of hotels, so I'm just throwing that out there. And I like to, plan way ahead.
I like that 3V court. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, 3V Court's a
3V
good
court,
place.
it's my favorite. I just
But-
love it there.
But there's other places.
Yes, the
and-
Myrtles.
Yeah, and we've stayed at the Myrtles, which was
Yeah.
beautiful. But there's other Airbnbs that are lower cost, and you could get six.
Just-
You could get 6 people in one of them or something like that.
Did we decide which one of the weekends the conference is gonna take place?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not trying to speak across Ross here,
Well,
but
we do decided
yeah,
that.
we decided that in Unite. Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
Ross, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the weekend of starting the 25th of April and 26th and 27th. Am
Okay.
I wrong? Well, Ross might not absolutely zero time. What's he saying?
Yeah, Ross said that he's getting together the info to put up
Oh.
on the website and
Yeah, 25, 26, 27 of April.
Perfect.
So just plan on it, and look for a place. There's a lot of deals right now. But if you wait even a month before, sometimes these places get filled up depending on what's going on in Baton Rouge or other places. We're hopefully we're going to have a great. I think they're going to be a great bunch of
Yes,
people
I
here.
can't wait to see the new place. They've
I'm,
worked so hard.
I'm really
on it.
excited about this. Rodeo is what EJ says.
Oh yeah.
I said after the note above, I will be planning after 29 November. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm just saying that for us to plan for places to stay, that's an important thing.
Yeah, sometimes workers will come in, a crew of workers,
Right.
and take up the whole
Thing for
3D
months.
court.
Yeah, they'll take it all up for months or wherever.
Yeah.
And so, even if I had to stay down in Baton Rouge, I'd still go.
Oh, definitely.
Because we did that the first time.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's good to talk to people and
in person.
right.
Good to see everybody.
And the United Israel World Union is a beautiful organization that Dr. or David Horowitz created. We have gotten some of his writings out of the UN.
We started going through it, and
yeah.
then summer and
Yeah,
different things.
we're
gonna
going
get
through it
back
again.
into it.
And let me tell you, we went in to get the UN, and these Jewish people came out to meet us, and there was pro-Palestinian protesters all around us.
Hmm.
And I had a guy who was one of my gun guys, and he's like, "Dave, all you got to do is keep driving. I'll take care of everything else." And we snuck those boxes in that, and oh God,
Joe, she'd like to share a place with a group of women who can keep the air conditioning above 70. I have that same problem. I have to go outside and warm up and thaw out because the air conditioning is so cold.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I can
Yeah.
relate.
yeah. So we should start talking about those things, and there's a lot of things that we can plan for,
Yeah.
and we can also help Ross and
Yeah, he needs
and-
help with anything.
I'm not sure Ezra is going to be much help, but but I know that Seth will be, and I know that
Yeah.
Bridget will be, and
Uh-huh.
their family. I love to go out and do things in that area.
I want to say hello to everybody on YouTube. Unfortunately, they can't chat on here. So
Right.
if you have anything you want to say, just type it here and I'll read it for you.
Yeah.
But Arek had I think it's Eric, but it's spelled Arek.
Okay.
He says, yes, I like Baruch Hashem, who made the eyes that see, the ears that hear, and the heart that understands.
Yeah.
That's very deep and heartfelt. Thank you, Arlen,
Yeah.
for sharing that.
Yeah, that is, and just think about being alive, because a lot of
Yes,
people
yes.
aren't, you know.
And the eyes that see and the heart that understands. And
Yeah.
I mean, that is just amazing because some of these things just go out in deaf ears and people.
Yeah, well, we're made in the image. We know this. We're made in the
Right.
image, and
Right.
and that can mean a lot of things. But the way we think, and we can't process at the speed or the depth that the Almighty can. But we still have the basics, you know. In computing science, we call that the Turing machine, right? The Turing machine. No computer yet has beat a Turing machine. It's a very simple thing that Alan Turing made. You should read about him. The highest award in computer science, the Alan A.M. Turing Award.
Well, what does it mean in a nutshell? Or is there no nutshell big enough?
No, it's a small thing. It's a machine that can do basic computation.
Okay.
And while there's computers that do it faster and in parallel and everything,
Right.
it still does it the same way the Turing machine does. And we haven't, this artificial intelligence is a lie, let me tell you. And I don't mean that it doesn't work and it's not useful, because I use it all the time to write proposals, and you know, it does hallucinate. Be careful, people. But Igor Blokov is creating a whole new system called Prion, and of course he created Alexa after his sister, and he and Bezos is bullshit when he says who it was that said it was Igor, and he created Siri, and he helped create IBM's. He helped create IBM Watson. I already said Alexa, but my point is that it is this, that it's walloping and processing large amounts of data, so it might appear to be intelligent.
It does it faster,
but it's not conscious or anything like that. You know, and
I know. But after I've asked ChatGTP a lot of questions, I always say thank you.
it lied to me. It lied to me the other day. It lied to me the other day. I'll tell you what happened. There's a friend I have over in England, and his father ran the biggest record store in London, and he knew all these weird songs that there'd be a 45 and it would only come out and no one knew it. So he sang it to me on YouTube, to a lot of us, his friends. He sang it on YouTube, and I got the lyrics and I got the basic tune, and I went into ChatGPT and I walloped it, and it came out and said, "We found it. Here's who it is." A little known group from England in 1972. And here's the deal. It was wrong. This group never existed.
Oh my God.
So I went back and told ChatGPT, don't lie to me. And it apologized. And it said, I'm sorry. I took my best information. So
Wow.
this went on for like 3 months. And finally, some lady found the record. And there was this bizarre group that's not online in any way. And this guy was not hallucinating. But ChatGPT hallucinated to me.
It does.
But when the guy who invented Alexa texts you, I feel like I'm in a different
like
level.
you're on the verge of something.
Yeah, we're about ready to put in some proposals that I can't believe we're part of it, and I just all I can say is, wow, it's opened my mind. I don't feel worthy of these people and their accomplishments. They're amazing people. Anyways, by the way, another thing I want to tell you people to do is this. Please really listen to what I'm going to say. Simka Jakubowicz is putting out phenomenal new YouTubes. His son kind of got him up on it. And of course, he's going to do the Naked Archaeologist. And I think Dr. Tabor is going to be part of that. But listen, the whole thing that he put up like 9 hours or a day ago about the song that Nat King Cole did, it stuns me. Oh my God, it stuns me. I was crying because I was a big Nat King Cole fan because Daddy, Dad and Mom played Nat King Cole my whole life. I knew every Nat King Cole song, and I knew a lot of his original jazz, which wasn't so good. And Dr. Tabor says, "Gotta go."
Bye,
Everyone, okay, James, have success. Yeah.
Good luck at your presentation tomorrow.
Yeah, is it tomorrow?
Mhm.
Oh, good luck, James. He doesn't need it. He's that good.
God with you.
James can just start talking, and
And there it is.
yeah, that was his focus of his life.
Right.
If you want me to talk about military operations, I can really get right up on it too. But it's on Sunday. But I'm not good at talking like these. No, I'm not. No, I'm not good at talking like Ross is about this. Mine's more just what I really feel, and so I say things probably that get people upset.
That's certainly a gift that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Here.
Karen says, Chat GPT tells you what it thinks you want to hear.
Yeah, that's so true.
You should all watch Mrs. Davis on Peacock. It's all about this. Oh, man. That is good. I like that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen, because that is a beautiful thing. And
Yeah, definitely check that out.
we'll definitely check that out because, it's something that is impacting our lives. Don't get me wrong. A technological singularity could come not by something that's overtly intelligent and conscious, but that it just has so many rules that it executes so much and so much is available to it. The power grid, SCADA systems and power plants, all that. And again,
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
If we are this skeptical and we are meticulously studying the Bible and we are even considering the documentary hypothesis, the textual criticism, I think that we should know better than to believe everything that Google says or Wikipedia or ChatGPT or whatever, Alexa and Gemini and whatever names there are out there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, of course.
You have to still fact check everything.
Of course. But here's a
Exactly.
problem. Here's a problem. Get used to this thing called a cell phone, mobile phone, whatever you want to call it. You get used to it. And then you become dependent on it. And that is a problem. Woman almost ran into me today on the way into work. And I looked over at her to wonder why she was driving so poorly. And she was driving like this. Her hand was on the steering wheel and her eyes were focused on her phone. And she was texting. In New York State, that is a 5 points on your license, just like drunk driving. They really got serious about it, but I can't believe it. Now, let me say this.
That's why Tesla is doing that smart car that understands what's happening around, because people are not understanding and not paying attention.
I fully agree. But one of the things is, here's another thing though. If you have a week to write a proposal and you don't use ChatGPT, it won't come out.
Competition's using that.
It won't come out as good. And that's not to say that I believe everything it does, but I give it very specifics and I look for references and blah, blah, blah. And it helps me create content for proposals quicker than I could have on my own.
I know that they are making screenplays for movies with ChatGPT, so I know what you mean exactly. But just we have to fact check. That's all.
Oh, more than fact check, yeah. And stuff about religion. And it is very, it has a liberal mind. It does not like conservative values. I'm just telling you this because I can tell by looking at it that it has very liberal leanings.
Well, there's Google has their own AI, and Twitter has one called Grok.
Who?
Now,
You mean X?
Yeah, X has one called Grok, and I'm wondering, are they different?
Oh, they all are. They're all different because the OpenAI with ChatGPT stuffed it full of data for like 5 years. No one even knew it was coming.
Right.
And so it's a language manipulation approach, and they just have so much language in there that it's mind-boggling. And the other thing with ChatGPT is when you tell it things, it remembers it.
You can teach it.
Correct.
You can teach it.
So I hope I've been taking all of Ross's course and sending it to it, and it should be it'll be able to be another person on Torah Pearls.
So I got this new car, and tell them what this car does as far as driving for you.
Well,
it's got a feature.
Well, yeah, it has a feature.
I haven't used it yet.
The lease ran out on our old car, so we just got the updated car, and it has what's called Super Cruise. And when you push the Super Cruise, if it understands the road it's on, it doesn't have every road in the United States, but if it understands the road you're on, it will drive the car for you. Not as good as Elon Musk's yet, but it was just an option that came on the car. We didn't ask for it. I think it's it's a scary thing. Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
So Jodell says that Grok is less liberal. There's more of an attempt to be honest.
Yeah.
And I kind of got that feeling too from Grok.
Did you use Grok?
Well, just a couple of times. Just
you've been cheating on ChatGPT with the Grok.
Don't tell anyone. So I agree with that, Jodell.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I think that Elon Musk has done a good job.
Yeah. I mean, there need to be a shakeup and all that.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. But the other thing I would say is this. I don't see it changing my relationship with the Almighty God.
No, I don't either.
El Elyon, the Most High, is Nikita likes to say it. I love that.
Yeah.
This congregation can't be stolen from this whatever's going on in the world.
Right. Nothing can take it.
No.
Take it away.
And I think that's extremely important for all of us to remember, is that as the Proverbs we read tonight said, He will protect us. And I think
shield us.
I think that is so important.
We still have the innate ability to choose between good and evil.
Right.
And I don't think that all this
right.
artificial intelligence can really do that. So
no.
We're special still.
As I went before, verses 12 to 19, wisdom offers deliverance from evil men, characterized by their perverse speech, rejection of uprightness, and delight in wickedness, and also protects us against the strange women, which could symbolize not only strange women, but seductively and morally compromising influences. Like your parents told you, don't hang around with these people because they're a bad influence. There are bad influences.
The pagan religions filtered in through these women.
Right.
So it's kind of could be like a double.
It is, but even remember,
message.
I'll tell you a story about us, but I'll just be quick. Our son was hanging around with bad people, our youngest son. He was hanging around with some bad people, and in high school, and we forbid him to hang around with these people. We didn't usually get that deep into it. He blew up at us. And he's like, you don't understand, Dad, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's our house. You want all this food? You're going to listen to me. 3 weeks later, the front page of the paper shows that this kid stole a car and drove it into the Erie Canal.
That little rascal.
I said, Jeremy, what do you think of this? And he goes, I guess you're right, Dad. I mean, not that I wasn't hanging. I hung around with bad people. I mean, when I was young, I'm just saying, it's part of life.
Right.
I'm very careful about protecting your children from everything. I think a few bumps and scratches and catching diseases gives them tougher. Although I think people who homeschool are brilliant and they're great people, it also delivers a whole different thing.
Right.
But somehow how to get along in society can be also. So I know people that brought their kids up to like high school in home, and then they went for their high school years at a public school or a private school. And I see that's another good way of possibly mixing the two.
Right, right.
And in New York State, they really did a lot to promote this by putting, you can be in sports programs even if you're homeschooled, and you can do things with
Much more support today.
right. And it's and there's a lot more help in the teaching and what to teach and all that. But people who homeschool, like anything you teach, if you teach something, you learn it better.
Well, we have a friend and her daughter has 6 kids, Lisa's daughter, and she homeschools them all, and she's expecting another.
Get out of here.
No, I'm not.
Oh, Carm's rolling over in his grave.
I know, she's going to have her 7th.
And they're devout Catholics. But what I was going to say to you is that, something as simple as music, right? You teach someone how to play guitar, and you have to really think about what does all this mean, and you become better at it. Another thing that I like doing is teaching mathematics, and I always get these stumper questions. Here's a simple little algebra equation, Dave. You can solve it easily. Not really. It's not that easy to solve. It takes a little more to solve than this. And I guess it becomes an imaginary solution and all. But the point is that when you go over the basics, which Ross is doing now for the 15th time, he's going over the Torah portions. But
every time it's kind of a fresh way of looking at it.
Yeah, you learn more about teaching it. Ross has learned more by teaching and then he would have just studying on his own.
Right. Exactly.
And I learned more about it listening to you all, in the Zooms too. The people come up with really good points, and I can't chase down everything, but Libby says we homeschooled and public schooled. Combination helps to develop. Yeah, I like that, Libby.
Yeah,
you're very astute woman. Well-rounded. Because I think those are all important things. And school has changed. I mean,
definitely.
I went to school in the 60s and graduated in the 70s.
You're a senior citizen now.
Yeah, I know. You've mentioned that quite a bit. Patty.
Okay, that's enough.
60 days. 60 days. You're going to be a senior citizen.
But you're always going to be older than me.
I am always older than you. Yes, I'm a lot older than you right now. But anyways, it's a blessing to get old. Let's just say that. So I think we're going to wrap it up. I would always like to read my last prayer, and we're. Can you, before I read that, would you talk about Ross's prayer?
Yeah, one more mention of Ross's class tomorrow. Dysfunction but divine, chosen family.
Yeah, he put it up there.
Okay, hey. See you all there.
Yeah, we're going to see you all there tomorrow morning. And
boy, did we enjoy chatting with you tonight.
Yeah,
it's such a gift and a blessing.
Hopefully, Ross, you're going to have are you going to have a Zoom after? I would think you are, Ross. So I'm just going to say our final blessing, like we like to say. Jehovah bless you and keep you. Jehovah make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. Jehovah turn his face towards you and give you peace. Amen.
Amen.
I hope you all have a great Shabbat. And
and thank you again, Clody.
Love you guys.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Next weekend we're gonna grab somebody for Proverbs 3. Love all of you. God bless.